cut off the first 10 seconds. Okay, boys.
I'll let you take it away, mate.
Sure. Boys, looks like we are live again with Joseph, the wing bro, for the second time. First time we had a little chat live was about our adventures in Serbia and Belgrade after we've spent more than 4 weeks together in this beautiful city. And of course, everything is available for you guys to watch and on both our channels. So, Joseph, thanks for being here again. Today, I wanted to specifically talk about how age could be a problem for guys if they think it's a problem, because we have so many things to say about this. I actually recently had a guy book a coaching call with me. This is the inspiration for this life. And in the notes he wrote down, by the way, I am 46 years old. Like, he believes that's a problem. So I can definitely relate to it because I'm now 31 and Joseph is now 40. I used to think I'm too old to learn this. I used to think I should have a girlfriend and should have kids, should be married already. Even before I learned cold approach when I was like 26, 27. So yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, Joseph.
For sure, mate. For sure. Glad to be back, mate. Glad to be back. Yeah, you're right. Last time we spoke was about Serbia. I think we were just finishing up in Serbia. Now I'm out here in Dominican Republic. So I'm out over in Latin America. You're back in Belgium.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the age thing. It's funny because Serbia, as I say, I'm 30. I was 39 in Serbia. It was the first time I'd ever had an age objection, and that was in the approach
Really?
itself. Yeah, and it's the first time it ever happened, and even since then, it's very rarely happened. So um, that's not bad going. To get to 39 without any age objections is pretty decent.
I remember you going up and down that main strip in Belgrade, the shopping street where we did most of our cold approach together with Ephraim, and you had like a special magnet that was attracting younger girls in their 20s. I remember.
Very early 20s, mate. Very early 20s. That seems to be the market, which I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the daddy energy coming through.
Yeah.
Um, I sometimes think it's my style as well. I often go out in things like an orange baseball cap or something like that, or something like maybe a bit of an Adidas thing or something. So I think that style works in my favor. It's like a combination of I look older, but I also have a slightly younger style. Like I'm trying to be a teenager, but it's just the style that I like. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not going out in a three-piece suit, you know, which I think actually I think is quite important if you're matching up with the kind of market that you're interested in. I just do it naturally, so I think
Mm.
that's a factor.
I would say it looks and it feels like a great mix or combo between serious and playful, you know? I think that's a great combination. Like, it's a bit sporty. You have a good physique, a good shape. You have the Puma tracksuit, the Nike clothes, a bit sporty, and then you have the very dominant style, but also very playful, like with the banter and the jokes with the girls. I remember they really liked it. We had this. I think she was blonde. She was one of the most beautiful ones. I remember. She was going up and down the shopping street, walking with her friend, a two set, and you open her. I think when you were alone, and then you joined me later when I was sitting on a terrace having a coffee with Ephraim, and then you open them again like two or three times. I think she was a tennis player, if I remember, and then
Yeah, I
that
remember
was a
those are
really funny interaction. These
yes,
these girls are wild.
those were some of the best girls. They were some of the hottest as well. Those two, I remember
Yeah,
those two. Yeah,
definitely.
the thing is, girls who are at that 21-year-old peak, they know how hot they are. They've got all the younger guys who fancy them. Of
Yes.
course, all the older guys fancy them. They've got all their options open. They haven't committed to anyone in most cases yet, and they're kind of like they're at the peak of their powers. So they can be very cocky. They can be very arrogant, but they're also quite, like having a bit of fun, taking the piss out of them a little bit, and just coming in really confident and really fun. those kind of girls, I think they're great value for an approach. For me, I really enjoy interacting with women that age, and I don't know if you remember, but we exchanged contacts with those girls. They were actually showing quite a bit of interest because we were hitting
Yes.
so much volume on that strip. There was a time a little bit later on they strolled past us. We were just in other sets, and they
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like
yeah, absolutely.
made some funny faces at us. But it comes with the territory. When you're doing so much approach in a small area, it kind of does come with the territory a little bit.
Definitely, definitely. Mm. Oh, interesting. Yeah, interesting. We had several times actually. I remember. But something I specifically wanted to talk about is the fact that you are a 40-year-old guy, um, talking to younger women in several countries. Of course, Belgrade, Serbia is more like Eastern European. Originally, you're from the UK, so you have tons of experience living in UK. Of course, you lived in France as well. Other countries, you've been in Spain, and so yeah, being a guy in his 40s now, talking to women in like 21-year olds, 22-year olds, I can understand. I can see that other guys would be very uncomfortable with this. Even the idea of starting a conversation with them makes them nervous. Even when I'm here in Ghent, so I'm a Belgian guy. I live in Ghent. When I'm standing at a bus stop or a tram stop, the most beautiful girls in their 20s, like there's other guys waiting for the bus, and they're just staring at these girls, but they will never approach them. They will never do anything. There's a lot of I would say there's a lot of shame and a lot of guilt around this. Um, so what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I would say that shame is instilled by society and by culture, and it's designed to shame men. For some reason, there's a lot of shame towards men in culture, that you
Mm,
have to behave and conform in a certain way. You have to drive between the lines, and I don't. You can go into theories of where this comes from. I think there is a reality to the dating market that a man's peak is much later than a woman's, and that goes against the idea of equality. If
mm,
we're all equal, we should all peak at the same time. And your, should we say, attractiveness, it should be the same. A 21-year-old man should be the same as a 21-year-old woman. We know that's just not the case, right? 21-year-old men, they're going to struggle more. They're going to struggle more because they might have a lot of attractive girls around, but
yeah.
you're not as confident. You haven't established yourself as much in the world, and it does take time. Some guys have, there's that small percentage of guys who just get it when they're really young, but the majority of us become much more attractive once we start to hit our late 20s and early 30s.
Mm,
And for women, that peak is like it's like a blooming flower, like very, very young, very powerful. 22, 23, all the men are falling at their feet. That just is not reality for most men in
yes.
their 20s and 30s, in their early 20s. And then the flip side to that is it gets harder for women as they get older because it just, I suppose it correlates with fertility. That's a fairly obvious it's a fairly obvious thing. If we're attracted to the opposite sex for reasons of reproduction, then as a woman is, let's say she's in her late 40s, it's very hard for her to actually keep up with like a 25-year-old, in
Mhm.
terms of what would attract a man. So I just think the two sexes have their sexual market peaks at different times. I don't think it's not really controversial, to be honest. I think everyone knows this.
Mhm.
But but I think there's this idea of equality where we have to be the same on everything, and that just doesn't really work out in the real world. So I think there's this idea of men should be shamed into not looking for younger women, and um,
I
even
would
sometimes
say,
younger women they get a
yeah.
bit shamed by their friends for going out with an older guy. But go on,
Mm.
yeah.
I would say there's like an aspect of jealousy as well. Maybe older women are worried that they won't get a chance. Um, there's also guys shaming you for it because they're just afraid another guy will run away with the pretty girls. I think there's a lot of pointing fingers and a lot of a lot of fear around it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe in freedom of choice. So, if you're an older guy and you want to date a younger woman, you should go and do that. And
Mm,
if you're a younger guy, you want to date an older guy or a younger guy. And if you're an older woman, you want to date a younger guy, you should go and do that. You know,
mm.
people should do what they want to do. Um, there's no rules in any of it. There's all sorts of different permutations that happen. Sorry about the crazy music outside. But yeah, there is. You're right. There's a lot of shame and there's a lot of fear, but you also have to bear in mind there's a lot of younger men who will also be stood at those bus stops wanting to approach those girls, and they don't do it out of fear,
Yeah,
shame, hesitation. You know, it just is what it
definitely.
is.
Yeah, and then if you do approach, it's funny how everybody turns their head and stares at you and they're like, "Whoa, what is this? Like this is the ultimate glitch in the Matrix. What's going on?" I love it so much when this happens in the gym. You know, this is like the best example of guys staring at girls' legs and everything in the tight gym clothes, and nobody's talking, doing anything, and then you just cold approach her in the gym, and they're like, "What the hell is just going on?"
Yeah.
That's really funny. There was another story, as you know, you're a great salsa and bachata dancer, but recently, the last 2 months, I started doing some salsa classes myself, and even after the first lesson, I think there was one of the guys who I know through the dance classes. He came to me and he said, "Well, I really like this girl I'm dancing with, but she's so young, man. She's so young." And I think he's 36 now, and he several times he started a conversation with me about how he's so attracted to her, but how he's incapable of setting up a date with her because he's too old and she's too young. And I mean, I just felt the bullshit alarm going off several times. The difference between yeah, a guy like me that's you know getting results with daytime cold approach, and then another guy um, who's stuck in this fantasy about age and how it's holding him back. It's really
Uh huh.
limiting belief. That's what I thought. So another thing I I was thinking is the age can also be a convenient excuse on the man's side. It can protect your ego from discomfort, and it can justify inaction. That's what I was thinking.
100%. 100%. It all comes down to fear. When you make
Mm,
an excuse, 90% of the time you're afraid. You're afraid of rejection, you're afraid of the unknown. And whatever your excuse is, oh, I'm too old. Oh, I'm too short. Oh, I'm too skinny. Oh, I'm too bald. Oh, I'm too
yeah,
brown. Oh, I'm
yeah,
too
yeah,
pale.
absolutely.
Oh, I'm not dressed well enough. um, I'm a minority. It is really all an excuse. It's really just all an excuse. And it's preserving your ego because, yeah, the girl might not, she might say no to your advance. She might do, but she might say yes.
Mm,
So, and I guarantee you'll feel better if you just go for it. And you know what? The girl will respect you as well. Afterwards, even if she says no, there's an interesting respect that comes in those social circles. If you make a normal play for a girl, they kind of they're in touch with nature. In my experience, they kind of don't really mind unless they're very warped and bizarre. They actually respect you afterwards, and sometimes that might just be the first approach. You might approach her again the next month. You might She might
true.
come around to you over time. That definitely happens. So yeah, for the guys in the dance classes and stuff, that's one of the most notorious places that people go in the modern world to develop a skill, to have fun, and to listen to music, and to meet
Mm,
somebody. There's very few places that people can really go these days that are at least half decent to meet people, and dance is one of the best places. So this is just well
yeah,
established, and so and
100%.
there's loads of couples that hook up in dance. I know uh, several friends through dance who were guys in their late 40s who married girls, married, not just dated, married girls in their about mid to late 20s that they met in dance. and they met on the dance floor. They developed some chemistry. It became they would see them around. It became an ongoing thing. They would take a number. They go for a private date, and they start dating. And what a way to meet somebody. And then you're taking them out dancing. You've got this great connection as a couple. So um, 35. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Like
Mm.
I don't know what to say. I'll be shoving, I'll be bullying this guy into it, because as I say, there's guys in their late 40s who do it no problem at all.
Hmm. Yeah, so there's limiting beliefs on the man's side, but I have to say, in the last 2 months of doing a lot of cold approach in a relatively small city, I mean, we're at less than 500,000 people here. Uh, I've had a lot of quote unquote age objections recently, and then the question is like, is that really a problem for the girl? Is it really about age? Is it a smoke screen? What do you answer? I like to say, for example, well, so the girl goes, well, by the way, how old are you? And then I'm like, how old do you think I am? And then usually she says like, well, it also depends on how old the girl is. She's like, well, 26, 27. I'm like, no, 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 I'm actually 28. And then because I know in certain cases, as soon as the girl has this number 30 with the number three in
Mm-hmm.
it, it's like, nah.
Yeah.
So she might use it as an excuse because I just know and I feel the attraction on a physical and biological level. I just know if can get this girl on a date, it's it will be an amazing experience for her and for me. But
Mm-hmm.
she might be saying that the age is an issue because she's afraid. It might be because she doesn't know you enough. What do you think about this?
Yeah, it can be a few different things. You're right though. The number three comes up, and if the girl's early 20s and she's in Western Europe, there
Mm,
might just be like too many things that have gone through her head, like with the way the culture is and everything like that. Oh, you should date someone your own age. So, I mean, just before, let me just, I will definitely address what you just said there, but just before, let me just logically, absolutely destroy the notion that a woman is better off with a guy her own age. What did you want out of women when you were 20 to 25? I don't know about you, but I was only interested in one thing. I had no time really. I didn't. What do you want in a relationship? I don't even have my own apartment. I'm living in a student apartment. What am I going to get
yeah,
married? I barely know my way around a woman. I just about know where her breasts are at this point. I'm
yeah.
miles away from being able to
Abs-
even hold down a serious relationship.
Absolutely.
And
That's the age where you try like to experiment with the polyamorous arrangement. You just want to bang everything that moves. You want the experience. I had so many friends, including myself, complain about, well, I really like this girl, but actually I want to have this and this and that and that. And you're just wild. So I understand what you mean. Yeah.
exactly. So for a girl who's okay, if she wants to get banged out by a 20-year-old guy who's then going to disappear, by the way, they don't have much understanding of women for most of the time, so they don't take consideration of things like the girl's safety, physical safety. They don't take into consideration things like the girl's reputation. These are things that us as older gentlemen, we understand physical safety. We understand make sure the girl's reputation is intact. So, she's
Yeah.
she's not going to come round to me and I'm going to be saying to all of my friends, or her friends, anything like that. It's very discreet. And then also the potential for a more long-term relationship with someone who is actually mature. And
Definitely.
men mature at a slower rate than women. Women are actually very mature at a younger age, presumably because of childbirth. It's there must be some evolutionary thing there because they could obviously be mothers at like 20, and so
Mhm.
like I do think they're a lot more socially mature at a younger age. So that's that's again that all just plays into the idea. It's actually very normal for an older guy to be with a younger
Absolutely.
woman. It's actually, in my opinion, it's more abnormal for a young guy to be with a young woman long term. That's actually more abnormal, in my opinion.
Mhm. Yeah, I completely understand. I had personally, I also enjoyed the experience more. I think it's a different. dynamic. I like to be the guy that quote unquote takes care of the girl, is more mature. I mean, I had a relationship with a Belgian girl that was 20 years old when I was 27, and if I think about it, had I been more mature at the time, more ready for a relationship, that would have been a great dynamic because she was ready to go, and that's what she wanted. And then after me, she went with an older guy as well. I'm currently again seeing another Belgian girl that's a lot younger than me, and it's just a great experience for her and for me. And she's the kind of girl that definitely wants to be with a more mature guy. They don't want to deal
Yeah.
with the nonsense from younger guys. They really don't.
Yeah, the guy who's going out smoking weeds, doesn't have a direction, doesn't have a job, is just fucking clueless.
Mm.
So there's a lot of advantages to being an older guy from the woman's point of view. Um, and then just in terms of age objections, just to go back to that for a moment, when you say the word 30 or me 40, for some girls it's just like they haven't mentally considered, like to them it just
Yeah,
seems ancient. It's just like when we were that age, 30 seemed ancient, 40 seemed like dead
yeah,
at
yeah.
that point. So
That's
like
yeah. That.
they hadn't considered that. It's not necessarily even a sexual thing. It's just out of their reality.
Mhm.
Um,
That's why when
and
you ask the girls like how old do you think I am, they give you this ridiculous number. Like they think I'm 23. They even told you in Belgrade something like that was just a number that was just ridiculously low.
I think
It's
I
funny, you
I
know?
think I had one girl said that when I had the beard dye on, I think I got 24.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I got 24. That's my best ever. I think
You'd have
I
said
get
yes.
28. I get 28 fairly frequently, especially if
Mm,
I've got a bit of grey in the beard. But if that's black, quite commonly I get 28 out here. And if when I say 33, the girl's like, "What? You look younger." So I mean, the other thing you can do as well, you can easily pass for 27. So you're 31. So if you
yeah.
just don't want to navigate that 3-1 on the very first meeting, you can say, "Yeah, I'm 27."
Mm,
And with
absolutely.
some of those local Belgian girls, it's not a big deal. If it
And also,
progresses further, then you can tell
yeah.
them your age.
And
You
what
know,
proof of the fact that this absolutely doesn't matter to the girl. I had this in Serbia, by the way, with this girl I approached. Absolute flirty fireworks straight from the start. And I told her I'm 27, and I took her to my apartment that very day. And then, next to my bed, I had my passport there. And while I was going through the bathroom, she was like, "Oh, what? You're actually not 27," she said, and she just put the passport down. And we went on with our business, so she didn't give a fuck at all. That didn't matter.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's just too much. Ultimately, like you can try and police and regulate and shame and all of this nonsense, but you can't tame nature. You cannot tame nature. You can chase it away, but nature will return, and that is man
Yeah,
and woman. We are nature. So,
definitely.
so yeah, I think we've just mentioned a few ways you can handle it. The cultural aspect, though. I mean, this is you just mentioned Serbia there. We've talked about this. The fact you're getting a lot of objections in Belgium, to me, I do wonder if that's more of a cultural thing because 31 is not that old. Like even if you are saying I'm 31 and the girl's 23, 24, that's really not that much of a difference. So you've traveled as well. You've traveled to different places. I remember you saying in Egypt you met girls from Russia and so on. You've obviously met
Mm.
the Slavic girls now out in Serbia. You've met African girls. I don't know, maybe some Latinas as well. Um, what do you notice a pattern like culturally that the more westernized girls, the Belgian girls, they're giving you more of these objections, or have you just got them across the board?
Definitely the most in Belgium. Yeah, it's a very like equality kind of place politically wise. So yeah, I would say the girls that care the least are African girls born and raised in Africa. 100%.
Mm.
They see it as a massive advantage. So they don't care about it. Latinas as well. They seem to not really care about it. And typically as well on those dates or during the very first interaction, I cold approach or on the first date, there's not even a conversation about age. And then the second time I meet
Yeah.
her, third time is like, ah, by the way, how old are you? And then it's like it's literally the first time she even thinks about it because it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's not even relevant. What if a girl? I mean, you could go the other direction. When I was in my early 20s, I remember going out with a Cuban woman in her 30s. I just thought she was attractive. I did not give a shit how old she was at all.
Mm,
The fact she was in her 30s, I just whatever. She could be in her 40s for all I care.
mm.
I was a younger guy and I just was attracted to this woman. So I just don't think it really makes it. It's a shame that there's this kind of poison and I partly wonder. I think I partly wonder if it's. You mentioned the equality thing. I also partly wonder if it's maybe a fear on behalf of the women of like, oh, the older guy, he'll take advantage of you. Are they
Yeah,
afraid that they won't be able to resist your charms or something in the way? With a younger guy, they can probably control him quite easily. With an older guy, I don't know. I wonder that are they actually afraid that like you'll be too much for them? That's kind of you have too much of an upper hand. Maybe that's been instilled. A lot of older women could get resentful. They try and instill that in the younger women and stuff. Um,
definitely. I
you
had
know.
this many times back when I was still working in the hotel. I had the female colleagues that were my age. They just couldn't deal with the fact. Some of them that really liked me, they couldn't deal with the fact that I was getting along really well with some of the younger girls. They didn't like it.
Mhm,
It is you can't avoid like flirting with female colleagues when you work in these kind of environment. It just it
mhm,
and it goes both ways. It's not like I'm the horny manager seducing his colleagues. That's not how it is. It's just a natural way of having conversation with each other, and the girls love it. The girls initiate it as well. And
mhm,
even when we were, for example, when I had a team of between 6 to 8 girls, because most of the hotel receptionists are girls, when we would hire new team members, there was even one girl that didn't get the contract because the other girls didn't like her and they kind of pushed her out because she was younger and she was getting along very well with me. I think that was at least one of the reasons why they didn't offer the job.
yeah, a lot of it's just female resentment. Let's just call it what
Mm,
it is. It's
yeah.
just, they're basically beta females. They're older beta females. It is what it is. They're resentful of the young alpha female who's getting all the
Mm.
attention. It is what
But
it is. You know.
I can remember some colleagues and people giving me these like little nasty comments like, well, he likes the younger girls, or so stuff like that. I can i can imagine if you get that kind of feedback from your environment in your culture, you can actually start believing that like maybe there's something wrong with you or you're doing something wrong. So if you're a
Yeah.
guy growing up in the west, and you're
Yeah.
going to salsa classes and then you go to the Christmas market here together with me, and I have some fun banter with some girls, and the guy is like, "Oh, wow, what are you doing? Like, they looked a bit young." And actually, I like that girl from salsa class, but she's a bit young. Like, if that's the world you're living in, well, good luck to you, because that's a real problem. And I think you can't really understand the difference if before you travel. I think trying new cultures is very important, and I will open your eyes.
Listen to your nature as well. Your dick is not going to lie to you. You know,
Mm,
do you look at a 90-year-old woman and feel turned on? No. Do you look at a 25-year-old woman and feel turned on? Yes. Well, there's a
yeah.
reason for that. So that's the other side to it as well. I remember being your age, and it was less than what you've experienced, but I remember getting that a couple of times, and it was always older girls. They would say little schneid things to me, but I just didn't care. I don't care. I don't even acknowledge it because I
Mm,
trust myself. I know it's normal at the end of the day. I know when I was that 21-year-old girl's age, she wouldn't have looked twice at me. I know that as well. So now I'm 30, when I'm 31, 32, and I've got this club promotion and the girl's 21 to 23, whatever. Yeah, and she's
yeah.
interested in me. You're damn right I'm going to take my opportunity because I didn't have that opportunity when I was her age.
Mm.
So that's the other side that the women don't see is when you're 21, 22 and you can't get it together, why should you as a guy when you reach your full maturity, why should you then step aside? No, this is the time actually to go and actually make your move and get the girl you want. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's the other side as well. They had it when they were young and hot and everyone was chasing them. they had it all on a plate. So I just don't listen to it. Like if there's any guys who've had this experience, don't listen to any older women when it comes to this type of thing. Don't listen to any guys trying to shame you. They're all just fucking jealous. You got
Mm,
to accept a lot of humanity are just jealous, resentful losers. That is a lot of people in this world, and
yeah,
you're either one of them or you're going for it yourself. We're going for it. So if someone does better than me, someone does well, I'm all for it. Good for you. Do whatever you want
yeah,
to do because I know I'm going for it. You're the same. So
yeah.
that's just kind of how the world is.
It's the same. It's the very same thing when thinking about learning cold approach in general. Like if you're trying to do this together with some friends and they make stupid comments, and I've experienced this myself before joining our group. Was my friends, they didn't like the idea of actually taking action and doing this, and they would create stories that it's stupid or it's shameful or you'll make fool of yourself. So yeah, and ultimately it comes down to changing environment and creating a new
Mhm.
lifestyle, new social circle, and getting rid of that kind of feedback. You don't want people around you that talk and think like this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's you pruning your social circle is really important. So yeah, it's one reason. If you're in Western Europe and you don't have people around you, get in touch with somebody like Balthus because part of what he does as a coach, part of what I do and what we're all doing is we're just normalizing this. This is actually normal. This is
Mm.
normal. Swiping away on Tinder,
Yeah,
wasting your life on Tinder, um,
it's not wrong.
looking at girls on OnlyFans,
Yeah,
being desperate, being a man in the prime of your life, in your mid 30s, having worked all your life, got yourself to a decent level, feeling ashamed to go and talk to a girl because she's 22, 23. It's not normal. So
I
what you actually
absolutely.
need is
Mm.
normal friends. Like and just even if that means you have to cut some people out of your life, or you don't have to cut them out, but just when it comes to dating, ignore their influence and get the right people around you.
Yeah, it can be a challenge, but it can be done. I mean, I did it myself. And to come back on the dating app thing and the cold approach thing, like I remember years ago when we've just had Christmas, for example. There's a lot of people going to family events, spending time with loved ones, and then you check your phone and you check Tinder or Bumble or some dating app, and you're like wondering, well, maybe I have a new match. Maybe I can swipe a bit while going to the bathroom because you have like this biological need to acquire new leads. And looking back on this, it's just absolutely
Mm,
ridiculous. If you don't solve this problem, you will have an
yeah.
absolute complete obsession with finding, attracting, meeting the feminine. You will waste time scrolling on YouTube. Maybe some new coach will give you a new idea and you'll finally do something. I mean, you have to you'll actually have to solve this problem once and for all, and then you can enjoy other things like your business, your family, Christmas, and everything in life.
Yeah, it's not a problem that will resolve itself either. And this is what I've realized. I mean, I came into daytime approach at 37. I'd done time approach and had girlfriends and almost been engaged once as well. And so I was not inexperienced when I came in. But I just thought I don't want to be in my late 30s. I don't want to be on apps, and I don't want to be dependent on a club, and I also don't even want to be dependent on salsa because I was traveling Eastern Europe at the time. I was like, I even the salsa scene wasn't really even that much going on, but I could still see beautiful girls everywhere in the bookshops and everything. I just didn't know how to bridge that gap, and that's why I got trains. It's why you got trains, and it's completely life changing. It's completely life changing. I've intentionally gone to difficult places to do the approach to actually see if it works. So
Mm,
people have their doubts over whether it works or not. I've got phone numbers in Sarajevo, Bosnia, in the middle of winter, in Turkey, in North Macedonia, in the middle of
mhm.
winter, inside a mall. Several phone numbers, and so we've already proven this works in lots of different places. Even places you think it might not work, it does. People were saying in Serbia, there were guys saying they know Serbian girls, it's not going to work, they're going to break our legs. We know it works. You know, it's a
Absolutely.
slightly different culture, it's different things, but so cold approach is a really good way to get yourself in the game, and then you can build from there. You can build from there. We're still building. Like cold approach for me is just like a skill you should know how. You should know, just like you should know how to. I don't know. You should know how to tie your shoelaces. You should know how to tie a tie as a man. You should know how to do a decent cold approach. You know. Um,
Mhm. It's a basic life skill. Absolutely, 100%. The more I become proficient at it and the better I become at it, the more I think like it's so normal. It's
yeah.
actually so normal, so baseline. Like, why didn't I know this like 10 years ago?
Yeah. It's not like a crazy way to get women either. It's a good way to connect with new beautiful women, but it actually isn't the best. There are actually higher echelons than cold approach. The
Mhm.
highest echelon is when you're in the center of something. So what are you? You're either a
Yeah.
DJ or like I shared the picture in our group of a dance teacher earlier today. I don't know if you saw it, but
Yes.
very average looking guy, Asian guy, and he's got an absolutely stunning girlfriend, and he always has them because he's in the middle, and he's got this whole social, call it social proof around him. That is actually, in my experience of being that, and then also observing that as well, that is the easiest, most powerful
Yeah.
way where you don't even really do very much. Like you will go and do the approaches, but the approach is half been done for you. That's very, very powerful because you've got masses of social proof, which goes way further than looks maxing or any of that stuff. That is what girls actually are really drawn to, is that a little bit of status, a little bit of comfort, a little bit of there's a few girls fighting for this guy pre-selection. That for me is the highest echelon, but that I've seen in it, or being a celebrity or something like that. But
Hmm.
cold approach is just the baseline that you can always get something going on wherever you are. And it might take you a few more shots as compared to if you were in this high up position. It might take you 10 shots to get a date, but you will get one. It might take you 100 approaches to actually get someone who is a girlfriend level girl. But if you keep going, you will get them. And that's
Hmm.
the beauty of it. It's like a baseline skill. Like you're never going to go hungry again. It's like a private income that you can always tap into.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, ultimately, I was thinking about this yesterday actually. Like lifestyle and vibe will always trump solo. Definitely solo cold approach. Um, of course, we've talked about this many times. Like it's a skill that you want to be able to do it solo alone, but ultimately it's a team sport. You want to be doing this with wings as a social group activity with guys that know what they're doing. We know this is an issue as well. Like where the hell do you find a good wingman? How do you go about this? This is something I struggle with a lot. But ultimately, you want to use this skill and integrate it into your lifestyle and your social circle, and that will give you like the best vibe to meet and attract women. So, and this made me think about. I remember a check-in I had at the hotel, and there was a very beautiful Bulgarian receptionist working that evening, and in came like an Indian guy. He was Indian, but Indian American from Texas, and he had such charisma and was talking about how he's traveling, and then he was joined by his brother as well, and he had like another friend, and he was waving his Mercedes car keys, and they were talking about their pool parties and the celebration parties and what they're doing. And I almost thought like, wait, are these guys like checking in, or is this like some sort of two set? Because everything was perfect. They
Yeah.
had like the best vibe. They had the status, they had the car, they honest, they were just really cool guys. So I just joined the conversation and I thought like, okay, you can do daytime cold approach, but what about this? All the things combined together, it was a
Yeah.
really nice experience. So that
Yeah.
that would
The
always
date.
prompt you just going alone in the shopping mall, which you should be able to do, but you want to integrate this and you want to see it as a lifestyle thing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's like it's your private income. It's the
Mhm.
equivalent of like $1,000 a month or something, or no, a couple $1,000s a month. You can do fine with it. You can do well with it. You can live on it. But actually, to really enjoy your life, you want to have your friends around, be going around traveling, and then it's no longer just then you're just meeting women together. Like some of the sets that we were doing in Belgrade, they were going towards that type of level where we would just go to the park with the girls, or we would
Yeah,
just go to a rooftop bar, and it was just fun, you know. And if you can, if you start to integrate it that way, I think that's really the direction that I support. But you have to learn it as a skill, as an independent skill. You have to be able to do cold approach, in my opinion,
definitely.
because there will be times where you're on your own. I was walking back last night, 10 o'clock at night, walking home in the rain, and I actually stopped two girls. One was a two set, the other was a four set on the way home, and got a number off one of them. And there was no vibe there at that time. I was just, I was just walking home, but they were both way too good to miss, and I would have regretted it otherwise. So, like, to have it in your back pocket, it gives you that sense of self assurance that you've got it there, you know. But I agree, the vibes, like, and in terms of friendship groups, this the honest truth of my friends I would go out with, all of them are good at picking up women, all of them.
Mhm.
There's no guys that I've gone out with since I was about 18 really aren't good, or at least to some level, you know, and some of them are extremely good. So like, it's just part of being a man, in my opinion. Like, it's part of knowing how to seduce. It's part of being a man. So you want to have guys who are good around you. And if you don't have those guys, it's good to tune into channels like this. You know, watch the infields. But the best thing to do is to get in touch and actually learn through osmosis and actually properly be around. And a lot of
Mhm.
times you think, oh, is it? It's not what people think it is. It's not the bad boy gangster image, online that people are, trying to imitate now. That's actually most guys who are good. They're really fun, nice guys. That's
Mhm.
by far what it mostly is.
Be happy about yourself. Be happy about who you are, about the people you're spending time with. Have some direction, some just enjoy it. Basically, that's a very important thing. Because we saw guys trying cold approach in Belgrade, and they looked so tense, so stressed. Like I remember those two British guy parading up and down. I was like, they don't really look like they're having fun. They weren't even talking to each other. They were like very 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 tense. I was
Horrible.
For us it was maybe funny. I don't think it was funny for them.
Horrible, dude. Yeah, you want to have fun. And this is a thing that can transmit over any age. You actually can be a 50-year-old. And if you're the life of the party and you've got some good people around you, you can do well. You can do
Mm.
well. Um, in, let's say, Western Europe, you might have a slightly smaller pool. That would be one thing. I'd just say, look, if you're 50 and you want to date a 25-year-old woman, you might have a slightly smaller pool, sure. There might be 50% of them who wouldn't be interested, or even 60% or 70%, but there'll be 30%, 20.
Yeah.
The pool it just might be a little bit smaller. There's a guy in our masterminds who, I don't know if you actually met him, he was bang on 50, and he's now with a 25-year-old, like fully moved in and everything. And he wasn't even a 50-year-old who looks young. He was a 50-year-old who definitely looks 50 for sure.
The guy that was
Wasn't even in
watching
good.
TV during the calls, that guy, he used to watch TV
I
during
can't.
the call. That was funny.
Maybe he wasn't. Yeah, he's not in good
Yeah, yeah,
shape at
yeah.
all. He's got a
I
belly
know.
on him, and but he's got a 25-year-old girlfriend. But good for him, man. Good for him. You know, he's just gone out and he's found the girl, balls maxing. She said he was a ballsy guy. So the power of the approach in of itself, actually, especially in Western Europe, is very powerful because there's so few guys who've got the balls and confidence to do it. Guys are running scared, unfortunately, and they're turning to the wrong things. The wrong things online are getting very, very big. It's very concerning. You know, I've noticed myself because I've been exposed to it because I've been a content creator now, and I've been exposed to more of this black pill stuff. I've
Hmm.
noticed it in myself, and I don't even believe it. I think it's untrue. But like, I'll start looking at people's faces and start looking at couples, and I start doing this black pill analysis because I've been exposed to it. So God, even though I know it's not true, as the images I've shown in today is a perfect proof of against that. But people are looking now online and they really believe this stuff, and it's a good excuse. I would say that stuff, really just avoid it at all costs. It just does not help you at all.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, go to Balkan country and look at some
exactly.
Eastern European couples or Russian couples with the fat bastard with the beautiful girlfriend. It's so
Yeah.
typical.
It's typical, and what they want is basically masculinized behavior.
Mm.
But again, don't mistake what that is. That's not beating your chest. That's not even, it's just being a strong person, doing the man stuff and being strong. That doesn't even, it's not even a physical thing, really. So, uh, yeah, guys need to be looking in the right places. Take a trip to the Slavic world, come to Latin America, see what you see here. It's just hilarious, dude. It's hilarious. My 72-year-old wingman, he's settling now for like a 35-year-old. He's 72. Um,
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Mhm. Yeah, sounds like an absolute legend. This guy would love to meet one day. Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's one of the aspects I think of travel and culture, which is really useful. I think you had it in. So we talked about the age thing a lot here, and the last thing I'll say on that is I think we both talked about it is in the past, but age is a superpower. It's by far a superpower for a man. Um, Up to a certain point, like okay, my 72-year-old mate, he probably can't pull a 23-year-old. I would not put it past him, but he probably can't as easily as I can or
Mhm.
as you can.
Yeah.
But he's 72. He can still get like a 35, 40-year-old. That's still pretty big age difference.
Mhm.
So like overall it is a superpower. Okay, you might get to a certain point like over 65 or something. Okay, you might have to go a bit older by that point, but I'm sure you'd be more than happy to at that stage of life. So
Yeah.
overall it's definitely a superpower.
Yes, yeah. Maybe we should talk about like realistic expectations coming in, and trying to learn cold approach, because we have many different guys watching this content. Some of them are already doing cold approach. Some of them have never approached a woman during the day in their life before, and they're like thinking like, well, I'm like 35 or I'm 46, like the guy I had on the call, 46. I just want to get a wife. I just want to get a girlfriend. Like, is this realistic? Is this gonna work for me? Am I delusional? Are girls gonna laugh with me? What's going on? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and just right off the bat, I want to say, and you've just said it. Like, I actually think older men are at a massive advantage over younger guys. If you want to learn cold approach, because they're usually like their learning curve is pretty impressive. They learn the skill pretty fast. They're very serious about it. They have their shit in their life together in a way that younger guys don't, and that's just a massive advantage. That's just my opinion. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. The guys who we've had a lot of guys come into our masterminds who they'll be in for a year and they'll leave. They're like
Mm,
49, 50. They'll come in, they'll absolutely smash it. They'll get what they want and they'll leave. Yeah,
mm,
they don't need to do self development by this stage of their life. They've done their self development, they've done their professional
yeah,
development. They enjoy it while they're in, but then they just come in, get the job done, and then bounce. And we've had
yeah,
several guys,
yeah,
mostly
definitely.
around that 50 age. They come in, get it done.
Mhm.
So that's something we've seen, multiple times happening.
Definitely.
Um,
I would say there's a couple of things you wanna keep in mind. So let's say you're a 46-year-old guy. You're like, I would like to try this cold approach thing because the apps are not working for me. I don't like getting drunk in a nightclub, or I just don't like the music in nightclubs. I want to be able to travel to a few cities, maybe go to Poland, go to Spain or Italy, or in my own city, right? Maybe you live in Stockholm, maybe you live in Amsterdam. You're like, well, maybe I can try and meet some women like this. Maybe next time when I see a beautiful woman in the supermarket or just on the street when I'm having a coffee or something, I just want to be able to walk up to this girl, start a conversation. Maybe I can take her out on a date, and who knows, we get along with each other, and she could be my girlfriend, and even the mother of my future children. So those are actually very realistic expectations. if
yep.
if so the age is not really a problem. At least the number is not a problem. You can be bald. That's not an issue. I would say you want to be in in a decent enough shape. You don't want to be like obese. You don't want to be very fat. You don't want to have a style like a dress code that makes you look old. You want to have
Mhm.
clothes that fit you. You want to have a certain look, like you always say. Just make sure you have a look. Get some examples. Get some feedback from friends that know how to dress well. From younger women. Usually, younger women are good at giving you feedback if you're able to find that. Um, yeah, be in a decent enough shape, which doesn't mean you have to be jacked. You don't need to hit the gym 5 times a week. Just be a guy that takes care of himself. You have your own apartment, you have a stable income, a normal job will do, you have a normal social circle, and then yeah, get make sure you get the basics of cold approach to a good enough level, and then you're ready to go. That's what we're here to do for.
Yeah, I advocate a full spectrum improvement over a let's say 90-day, but realistically, I'd say a 1 year transformation where we go from wherever you are to wherever we need to get you. So if you're so it does depend. Not all 40-year-olds, not all 50-year-olds are coming in the same. Not all 30-year-olds are coming in the same. It obviously varies a lot. So you can have a 30-year-old who is, or 35-year-old. There's a guy I worked with this year in Belgrade who was completely the finished article,
Mm.
completely
Yeah,
100% the finished article. Everything was basically 10 out of 10. The clothing style was perfect, especially for Balkans. Had a really cool, conservative but youngish style. Really good, well selected. Ridiculous physique. Guy was like almost like just fitness model level
yeah,
physique.
yeah.
Um, Amazing job, like a company which is known all over the world, and not just any company either. Really cool company. Good social skills. Had relationship experience before in the past. So he came in, and the only thing he didn't know how to do was cold approach, and that was it. He just didn't have the mechanical skill and a few of the leadership things as well that a lot of guys don't know these days. Some of the stuff I talk about on the channel. So he's just lacking a few bits of knowledge,
Yeah,
basically. But
yeah.
as soon as I got that, as soon as he gained that knowledge, bam, straight away that weekend he met like several girlfriend level women. That weekend had dates up at the castle and so on. So he's a guy coming in on a really, really high level, and also good mindset as well, good level of self confidence and
Mm.
maturity as well. Understood it wasn't going to all just be one way traffic. Some girls would say no, it's just part of the game, even
Yeah.
if you're a good guy. So that would be one, like a really high level example. You could have another guy who coming in who is out of shape, who has no social life because he works at home and he works on his laptop. Common thing that we see. Um, Not that much experience with women anyway. Maybe bits and pieces, but not that
Mm.
much. Doesn't really know about seduction. Doesn't know about male female leadership. Doesn't doesn't dress well, and is lacking self confidence. Maybe has self esteem problems. That's probably the most difficult thing to work with. So if you have that kind of group of characteristics, well, obviously that guy's got more work to do. That's going to be the approach weekend is just to get the ball rolling. But realistically, he's going to need full 90-day support from me. But he's going to need to make more adjustments, and that's just the way it is. And if you don't like that, um,
Yeah.
you can continue to be an incel. That is absolutely fine. If you
Mm.
don't if you don't if you don't like that, that's okay. But just realize those will be
Yeah.
the requirements. You have to make
Ultimately,
some
yeah.
upgrades.
Ultimately, you get out of it what you put into it, right? It depends on how much you're willing to do, but it can definitely be done. If you put in the work, you will get the results. If your English is not so good, you can even get results. If you're willing to improve your English, if you there's a lot of yeah, you can definitely get really good results. It can be fixed as well. You can improve your style. You can get in a better shape. You can improve your social skills. And cold
You can
approach is
improve your
something.
style.
Yeah. Mm.
Was gonna say, your style. Sorry, I'll just let you continue. But your style you can improve in like 2 weeks. There's no excuse for being badly dressed, even if you're overweight. That might take a little bit of time to sort out. But even with that, if you've got a good style going on, and your grooming is good, and you just take care of some of those fundamentals, and then you get some cold approach and you've got some good social skills, that can cover a lot of ills. You can still do well, and you can work on the other things while whilst you progress.
Yeah, 100%.
It's good motivation as well, I think, for older guys as well, like to stay sharp. Like, doing cold approach is a good motivation for you, because it's like, who doesn't want to be with an attractive woman? We all do. So why not use that as a motivation? I think I said this on a live the other day. I'm only asking guys to do things that they should be doing anyway. I'm not asking you to run a marathon. I'm not asking you to go and buy a £5,000 Versace jacket. All I'm saying is sort your style out to the best level you can, sort your grooming out, sort your wardrobe out, sort your social circle out, and then we can start this process. And yeah, and
Mm.
this is really just once you've honed this skill, you only have to hone it once. You don't have to be on the level of some of the people that we roll around with, in even our level. You don't have to be on that level to make it work. You can actually have pretty rudimentary skills, and actually do
Mhm.
well. But this is why the training comes in, because 3 days training,
Yeah, yeah,
um, you can get all the skills you need in 3 days, and then it's
definitely.
just a question of application.
Yeah, it's you said it you just said it, but often with guys it's a lack of information and a lack of implementation. And you gave an example of the guy you coached in Belgrade, but it reminds me as well of our relatively new member. I call him the Samurai Seducer. I work with him. Well, I did a very long session with him in Antwerp, and the guy just needed some information. He simply wasn't aware of certain things, and it
Yeah,
just took one day of us spending time together, and he was like, he like double X his results immediately on the spot, because for him it finally clicked. He understood and he was ready to go. So
hmm
to come back to your point, like the maybe we can talk about how a cold approach coaching session looks like how what are we actually offering, what are we actually doing, what can you expect,
yeah,
how does this work, because I can imagine like for a lot of guys that okay, should I do this, should I not do this, will I be able to get results? What if I pay a stranger and I show up somewhere and I
yeah.
can't get the job done? That must be a fear that a lot of guys have.
It's definitely a fear. It's definitely a fear, and um, I think it's a justified fear, because there's not many people who actually can.
Hmm.
This never signed up for anything cold daytime approach, even though it was something I wanted to learn for a long time. I actually bought a product off a coach, just like an online product a while ago, like years ago, because I could see some of his channels. He had some daytime infield, and I just wanted to see what he was doing. But he was doing some kind of crazy indirect daytime approach, which was like, it was interesting to watch, but
Hmm.
it felt like I just didn't see that as very replicable. And then I
Yeah.
saw two different phases. We've talked about the pre. The first thing you do have to learn is mindset. I think people don't like to acknowledge that, but it is important. You're improving. Was going to be also realizing anything can happen, so you need maturity. And then in terms of the actual sessions themselves, I don't know how you run your sessions, but I begin with the stop. So for the first, well, I actually begin. I always show students the very technical stop that we use,
Hmm.
um, which is pretty much bulletproof. I would say it's a very, very good
Yeah.
stop. It's very
Yeah. Yeah.
effective. It's not something that you would think to do. Um,
Yeah.
you would not think that this was effective. In fact, I didn't use it for the first 5 6 months of me approaching,
Yeah.
until I was almost forced into, and then I realized now I practically don't do any other
Hmm.
type of stop.
Hmm.
So there's a certain stop that we favor, which is highly effective. So I train students in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also show them a session as well. The very first 10, we just focus on stopping girls, paying them a compliment, and I also, just show them the first few approaches. They can be completely shit. Don't worry about it. And so that the stop is the first thing I focus on, plus the compliment, and I will iterate with different things. Some students come in way too soft. Some come in too aggressive. Some people come in too nervous.
Mhm.
So I just I'm able to, as a guy looking in who knows what he's looking at, I
Yeah.
can offer you very quick feedback that it's literally impossible to get on your own. You
Mm.
could not get this feedback alone. This is somewhat secret information that we have developed a pool of knowledge in our mastermind over the last couple of years. I know that sounds a bit salesy, but it's just true. It's just a fact.
Mm.
That is in our group now compared to when I started is way more advanced and way more effective.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how you run your sessions, but that's how I run my first of the. There's going to be 6 sessions. My first session is going to look like that.
Yeah. So another thing that we should say about it. So all the boot camps or the coaching experiences are fully one-on-one. They're 100% private. It's not a group experience, so you will not need to share your attention with another guy that you don't know. Why? Because it's fully focused on the results. The most important thing is that you get the job done. So it's 100% pragmatic. There's no like theory. There's no course. There's no videos you need to watch. Um, the point is we pick a time, we pick a location, we spend at least 3 days up to 5 days depending on your experience level and what you're willing to do and invest. At least 3 days for new guys, I recommend, together in a busy place. Barcelona, could be Krakow, could be London, and you will get the job done. You will get the job done. I mean, we're looking at least what, like 20 approaches a day. And then,
Yep.
as you just said, Joseph, it's a matter of implementation. It's a matter of getting feedback, because you cannot get the feedback. um I mean, you are your own worst observer, right? You cannot look at yourself while you're doing the thing. And so you get feedback, you get accountability, you get the support and all of the experience that's just injected straight into your soul. We'll tell you how to position your feet. We will tell you how to stop a girl. That's basically that's just the start of it, and then it's a matter of experience and fine tuning the little things. I mean, there's no point in explaining the technicalities of it too much. It's really a practical experience, and ultimately it comes down to, like, I would say, almost cognitive behavioral therapy, right? Because it will change your mindset completely, and you'll get so much positive feedback from gorgeous women in 3 days. It will change your life.
Yep. Yeah, once you've done it once, this is something to remember, is once you've closed the hot girl once, that means you can do it. That means you can do it
Yeah.
again. It's proven. If you can do it once, you can do it 1,000 times. It just depends how long you want to stay in the game for. But usually guys have that experience on day 1 or 2 where they close a real smoke show. I remember a guy I worked with in the UK who told me at the beginning of the day he always fancied these alternative looking girls with these weird shaven things in the head and stuff like that. And because that was the scene he was in. And I thought, well, that's interesting. My interpretation of that was I used to do things like that, but it was because I thought I probably can't get the real glamorous girl. This would be
Mm.
in my 20s. I thought they kind of like, they seem to go for guys who were outside my
Yes. Yeah.
level. So I'd go for these alternative girls, or I would preemptively say I don't fancy that girl. She looks too vain or
Hmm.
something.
Yeah.
Now,
Typical.
there might be some truth in that, but most of the time it was just a way for me to justify going for a girl I actually thought I could get. And this was the same for this client who came to work with me. And as soon as he approached like an absolute 10, like worldy blonde, just gorgeous, super glamorous, and he like closed her. And then and I think a couple he approached where it didn't quite close, but he was like, wow, I just approached this smoke show. And it's a changing identity where you just realize what the girls will go, go along with whatever you think you are, as long as you're plausible. They're going to go along
Hmm.
with it. So That's a big experience for guys, is to start to close
Yeah,
some girls that they find much hotter. And
definitely.
I know from winging with you, like in yeah, in Belgrade, but also Barca as well. Um, there's all these different guys out there. One of the guys who's a friend of ours, he became a friend of ours. He was the we liked the most, who was doing cold approach, independent from our group. He was like, "Wow, you guys actually approach really hot girls," because it's like we don't delude ourselves. We'll go for what we actually want, and just let
Mm.
may the chips fall where they may.
Oh, are you talking about our Bulgarian friend in Belgrade?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
yeah. He was a
yeah,
really cool guy. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so this
Um,
this whole notion of she's out of my league, it over time it will disappear, and it will destroy all these anxieties and these limiting beliefs, all this stress about meeting and looking at beautiful women in public. It will disappear.
yeah, it's I suppose one thing I'll just like maybe bring up is just to preemptively look at this is, let's say you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, and you don't have a group of guys like we've got around
Yeah,
us, or like my
exactly.
wings, who are they're just animals, dude. Really, since I was in my 20s, I I never really thought of it, but I just wouldn't accept a friend who wasn't like that. Why would I go out with? They're just going to be a drag, especially when I'm in the going out a lot phase. So the guys I would, birds of a feather flock together. They would find me, I would find them. This was how we would do things. You have the
Mhm.
same situation with your Egyptian friend, but for sometimes it's not easy, and friendship groups drift apart. People move to different places for work and so on, and you find yourself without those allies. And I do think there's something there where, like, you mentioned it with some family stuff. I've mentioned it as well with some family stuff, where you might have people in your quite close vicinity who
Yeah,
would be disapproving of you doing cold approach, you approaching younger women or very hot women, and for whatever reason it made them feel uncomfortable. Um, that's something you've kind of handled. I've handled as well. What do you think about that? Do you have any advice for guys who are they're hesitant because not just the surrounding people, but people actually close to them might ask questions or might think strange things of them?
the way I did it is I did the whole boot camp, my personal immersion. My coaching experience for me was completely like is in secret. It was the secret, and then once I became like good at the skill, I just started doing it a lot. I did a lot alone, and even immediately after my coaching experience in Barcelona, I remember I met a friend, a normal friend who didn't really know why I was in Barcelona, right? And I spent some time with him, and I did like an incredible cold approach right in front of him, and I remember that he was like staring at us like, what the hell is going on? And that completely changed his mindset and his beliefs around it. So an advantage for you learning the skill is that if you can show it to your friends, if you can involve them, you can actually help them out as well, and they'll want to spend time with you. So that's a plus. But how to deal with family members? Yeah, you don't have to tell too much. I would say
Mhm.
don't talk too much about it. Um, and ultimately, like the way my social circle here in Belgium has changed is like now I'm just surrounding myself with different kinds of people. I changed friends as well. I have my Egyptian friend, I have my Bulgarian friend. um those are my wings as well. So yeah, changing environments, changing locations as well.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I think I agree with the part about, like family and stuff. Like, you just keep it, you just
Mm.
keep it somewhat close to your chest, unless they're really interested in it. They can just, at a certain point, we all have to differentiate and somewhat divorce ourselves with maybe putting it in a harsh way, but from the opinions of even close family members. At the end of the day, we
Yeah,
are living our own lives.
yeah,
No one is
absolutely.
living our lives for us, and frankly, no one is really helping us apart from ourselves. So we have to divorce ourselves from the opinions of others. I think that's like the kind of final level of maturity where you just go, look, you
Yeah.
guys can do, people can look at me however they want to look at me. I don't really care at this
It's
point,
yeah.
you know.
It's ultimately it's the complete it's the final boss, you know, it's self differentiation. It's where you like
Mhm,
this is just what I do and no matter what you say, like if and even if cold approach just massively improves who you are as a human being and can make you meet the mother of your future children, like how would your parents disapprove of that? Don't they want grandchildren?
mhm,
I mean, like what the hell? That's just insane. And by the way, my family is aware of my YouTube channel. Most of the families, because we have a family WhatsApp group. And one day, one of my younger cousins, he just posted my videos in the family
mhm,
WhatsApp group. So then they knew. And honestly, nobody ever asked any questions about it. Not too much.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
I can understand that you know this is a personal thing and every family will react different, but even my latest girlfriend, she knew about the channel. So
Mhm,
it's all possible. You can be very open about it. You don't have to. I don't recommend shouting about it to everyone.
mhm.
But you can actually be very open about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've started to tell my family and stuff that I'm coaching now, and I
Mm.
don't tell them the full thing. I say I'm doing self confidence coaching. Um, I kind of do that anyway with business. I always keep stuff close to my chest anyway about what I'm doing. So it's not,
Mhm.
and I just wanted to, I wanted to maybe have proof of concept before I would start actually showing stuff to friends and things like that. So that phase will probably come this coming year, where people,
Yeah.
like I have 1,000 subscribers probably this by the end of this year, and I'll have done more immersions, and my website is literally I just pretty much finished it today, and
Mhm.
other things coming through in the pipeline. So it's like, oh, this is actually a thing, and it just like people can accept it or not accept, but as you say, it's a very normal thing at the end of the day. It's
Yeah.
and I think probably the fear for some people I work with from like a different countries and stuff, or there's guys who like they're interested in a testimonial, but they just don't want to give one or whatever, because they're afraid of like social repercussions. And that is a bit of a shame. And I think I do think it's on us as men. This is part of what I'm doing with the channel, is like this is why I speak so boldly on the channel, and then also show what I'm doing as well, is because when you have a culture where men are afraid just to be a normal heterosexual man or just normal guy going over
Yeah.
to a girl, it's very unhealthy. And yet all the
Mhm.
other things that are going on, you've got girls on OnlyFans, which is objectively far more bizarre and depraved than anything we're doing. We're actually doing a very gentlemanly thing, which is going over to a beautiful woman, stopping her, paying her a compliment, getting a little spark going. And the goal, as you say, with this is, especially for guys, to come back to the age thing, the goal for most guys in their 30s, 40s, and 50s is just to find a good woman.
Yeah.
That's the goal. It's a simple, noble goal that, has to be applauded, really.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think the
100%.
end goal is very much justification. Like, no one is trying to do anyone over here. We're actually trying to bring positivity into the world, and that is what is happening. I think I had a student recently lose his virginity at 37 years old with
Yeah.
Asperger's syndrome after a literal lifetime of struggle. If you can imagine what kind of a burden that must have been, like carrying a 1 ton truck on his back for the last 20 years, that's now
Yeah. Yeah.
alleviated.
That's
Um,
massive.
Guys as well, like some guys meeting like girlfriend level women on their immersion. And I have a feeling about one of the guys. He told me about the girl he met out in Serbia, and I have a feeling like I
Yeah.
think, yeah, this guy really, they could be a good match already just on the immersion itself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so this is going to be, in future years, families are going to form out of this. Guys' lives are going to change. Guys are going to be happier. They'll treat their families better. Everything is just going to be better. So I do think we're bringing a lot of positivity into the world by actually preparing people in this discipline.
100%. Yeah, so to answer some doubts and fears that guys have, are you too old if you're in your 30s, 40s, or even in your 50s? The answer is no, you're not. It's mostly a matter of like social culture, maybe social climate, structure, maybe a little bit cultural thing as well. Probably your own limiting beliefs, and also don't worry about becoming very good at cold approach. Don't worry about becoming like a crazy seducer or a playboy. You don't have to do that at all. You can definitely find a girlfriend, and in fact, you will get a girlfriend. And just worry about making cold approach work for you, and becoming proficient. Like focus on making it work by doing something instead of doing nothing. That should be your focus. Make sure you don't do anything wrong technically, uh, so you don't waste your time. You don't want to waste time. Just sort it out.
Yeah, guys who are in their mid 30s and beyond, there is like when I get on calls with guys who are in their early 20s and they're just really keen. I had a call recently with a guy who said he's like it's something he's always wanted to do, so he's kind of excited. But I have to be honest, if you're in your mid 30s and you're fannying around on should I come, and you're getting on calls, guys, should I come, should I not come? My honest attitude, I'm not going to try and persuade you.
Mm,
If Because I know for myself, when I met my coach, I saw his video, I commented on a video on a thing, he commented back. I got on a call with him the next day and I sent him the money 20 minutes later, because there's a handful of people in the world right now who can actually teach you this life-changing skill. It's very underground
yeah,
knowledge that is
definitely.
taken a lot of work to acquire. We know what we've put in to actually get to the level that we've got to, and we can
Mhm.
transmit that to students in a life-changing fashion in a matter of days. So if you're in your mid 30s or 40s or 50s, honestly, and you're seeing live infields that we're doing, where we're closing a girl, like I'm closing or taking a girl to a cafe within 5 minutes of a video starting, you know, if you see that and you think there's a better way to do this, be my guest.
Yeah.
Go ahead, try and do it yourself. Waste until you're 39 years old, waste another 2 years, or waste till you're 47 or 48. Go ahead and waste your time. Um,
Yeah.
we're both proficient because we got coached and we were around very good people, and we're always iterating. So that's how we got to this point where we have private wealth, basically.
Mhm.
But if you don't want to do that, then it's your life, man. It's your life. Is this what your life is worth? Parading around the streets on your own, too nervous to even do one approach, while there are guys out there who are older than you who can go out on one day and get 4 or 5 numbers on one day and be dating a 20-year-old girl or 21-year-old like I'm just about to go on a date with after this live. So this is just the truth, though. I'm just telling the truth. So if you don't think your life is worth it, and you want to waste more of your time in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, then go ahead. But my attitude at 37, I don't have the time. I need to sort this out ASAP. And if this guy can help me, let's go and do it.
Hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. So you have to sort it out. Age doesn't stop you. It's your beliefs that are stopping you. Cold approach doesn't punish age as well. It doesn't. So
No, it doesn't. Yeah,
it
it
doesn't.
doesn't. It's a great thing that within a year you can get unbelievably good, and within 3 days you can get good enough to get a girlfriend. But the last thing I would say on the age thing is, well, just a couple more things. Is one of them is, I think you should travel if you're older. I think you should actually be part of your diet is to travel to different places and go to different places where you find the girls very attractive. Try some different cultures. Some of the places we talked about, the Slavic world, Poland, Latin America, the Middle East, Africa, Asia. Try some different places, because um, just the freshness of being in a new place where there's maybe a bit less of a cultural hang up can help. But that said, it doesn't mean it's all going to be one-way traffic. We were in Belgrade. It's actually harder. Yeah, Brazil, it's actually harder. Dominican, it's actually harder.
Mm,
But the rewards are there. The rewards are there. Um, and with that in mind, actually getting the correct information is important. So watch Balthus's channel, yeah, or my channel, or some of the other good channels. Get the correct information, because
mm,
if you're applying the wrong information, you will fail. That's an
yeah.
issue, because I would when I've got a lot of hangovers from nightlife that I've only just started to get rid of with daytime approach because I've done so much nighttime. So in nighttime, a lot of your game is about image in some of these bars and clubs. And you actually take a little bit of time before you approach the girl. You don't just steamroll into her. You give her a few looks, and then you might even walk around in front of her in a way where it's kind of clear. They're very sensitive. They see like, oh, those are the cool guys over there with the table, or what they're having fun. And then you go over to it, and you've got like pre-selection. And that actually works in clubs. You don't
Mhm.
have to do it, but it actually does work. Um, and so I'll be quite hesitant with, I'll be slower in approaches than in the streets. You have to be fast. That's just one example. Some guys, there was the stuff from the game where you're supposed to look side on to the girl, so you're more casual, less invested. This was the American game, be cool and casual. It's complete bullshit, right? It's the total opposite. The thing you need to do, you need to be right in front of her, looking her in the eyes, getting that sensual contact going.
Yeah.
So if you're consuming the wrong information and applying the wrong information, unfortunately, you will fail. So travel by all means, but make sure you get the right information. I can vouch for
Yeah.
Balthus. His approach, I learned a few things from him this summer in Belgrade. He is for sure one of the best at this, like without any shadow of a doubt. The people who came in to like observe us, like some of our friends and even clients and stuff, when they saw us doing like a group session of me, Balthus, and Ephraim afterwards, they were like, "What the fuck is happening?" They
Yeah,
they
we
were literally
start.
like, I didn't when I saw it when I see it on the video, it looks like one thing, but when I actually see it in real life, how you guys are just all over the place on these streets, just stopping girls, and it's like it's just like you just put a spell on her, and then she's just there, and we
Mhm.
repeatedly over and over again for about 90 minutes. It's just
Mhm.
like I've never seen anything like it. And there's positive comments I had from people who came in, and like Balthus's approach is just like the level of skill is as what it looks like on camera. Honestly, his level of skill is probably a lot higher than it looks like on camera. That's what I would say.
Yeah, thank you. We started having like some groupies and we started building a fan base there. That was funny. I even had to like Serbian guys, a group of 20-year-old Serbian guys, like approached me and asked me like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? Can you like what? He said it's even in one of the infields. I think some guys that are stopping me and like, are you talking to girls? Like, what do you say to them? Like, it was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So and yeah,
yeah.
maybe to add to what you were just saying is you want the right information, but you don't want to get stuck on in the information phase, right? Like watch all the videos, take all the online courses. Honestly, you don't really need any sort of online course unless you're totally new to cold approach and this is the very first cold approach video ever in your life. Then take a look at the infields. Go to you
Mhm.
to Joseph's channel. Check out his infields. Go to my playlist called Infields. Check it out. Don't believe anything we say. Look at us actually talking to women. Look at us getting rejected as well. Look at us
Mhm.
getting numbers. All these things is all it's all
Sorry.
real. Looks like there's a war going on there. So it's you have to check this stuff out and then make up your mind. Like, is this real? Is this not real? Um, can these guys do it? Can I see myself having a conversation with this guy? Can he teach this? Can you teach me this? Those are the questions you should be asking yourself, and then make a decision towards like
Yeah.
how you're gonna make this work for yourself. And it doesn't need to be me, doesn't need to be Joseph, but we can definitely get the job done. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's why you've got a fair amount of content up now. I've got an ungodly amount of content up. I've just got so many videos, partly because I just had no clue how YouTube worked at all. So I would just get my camera out and just chat on a break from work for the last year. So you can definitely find out a few more of my perspectives on the channel. I think both of us this year, our goal is to get more live infields up. So we already have quite a good number of infields.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Ultimately, you don't need to watch 100 infields. That's not actually going to help you that much. Watch 5 infields of mine or Balthus's, see how it works. Maybe watch a few videos where you just hear us talking,
mhm,
and then if it's something you want to do,
yeah,
ask yourself the question: Am I willing to actually do I want it? And if you do, then we can definitely get you across the line and way beyond that. And if you
Yeah.
don't want it, that's also fine as well. You can watch the infields and channels forever. Um, that's
Yeah.
also
From
fine because these videos are going to keep going up.
Yeah, it's something also that helped me a lot, Joseph, was your content about relationships as well. So you talk a lot about male female dynamics, relationships. You
Mm.
have a ton of experience with dating and relationships in general, and it can be very liberating. I think there's of course some sort of stigma around, like, will I learn cold approach or not. So if any of you guys are like, I could do this but I'm worried, there's a couple of things you want to sort out mentally. Just be sure to hit that notification bell on Wingbro's channel, Joseph, and watch his lives. Those are very valuable. So you've been doing a lot of lives lately, like almost every day, so there's a lot of quality
Yeah,
content there.
I did one every day in December. Then I've done another couple this in January. But yeah, the relationship aspect as well. Cold approach is only, and this is something I realized. Cold approach is just a way to get leads. You
Yeah.
know, going to a salsa class is a way to get leads as long as you're proactive and you go for the numbers. Tinder is a way to get leads. It's not a very good way, but it's a way. Social media could pretend being a celebrity could be a way, but cold approach is just a very diverse, effective Swiss Army knife way where you can use any time, any place, in any country to get leads. But that is not going to guarantee you a strong bond with a woman and a relationship that you actually want. You actually want to be a part of with the right woman, the right type of woman, and
Mhm.
the the relationship model that I have come to discuss on my channel, but the overall model is male leadership with female assistantship. And
Mhm.
this, obviously, you can imagine, like, I think most guys probably in the West would like feel guilty for even listening to me say those things because it's like that's really against equality, but it's really not. I actually do believe it's a very healthy model where the guy comes and does his thing, he leads in his way, and the girl takes care of the stuff that she can take care of. And that's just a very basic principle. And I think a lot of so many men are afraid to even hear that kind of information now, unfortunately. But it is actually normal. And if you
Mhm.
speak to a lot of women, if you speak to a lot of women deep down, if you can read between the lines of what they're saying a lot of the time, that's kind of what they want. That's kind
Mhm.
of what they want. This kind of strong figure in their life who is going to offer some leadership, but then also love as well. So um, that's the type of stuff that I talk about on the channel because I didn't realize how clueless guys were on the back end as well.
Mhm.
So that's another thing. I think I had that quite sorted out quite early on, um, but it's something. The more time has gone on, the more I've realized actually this is really important, and that's ultimately what we want. We don't want to just go out approaching all the time forever. We want to have real clients getting really good relationships.
Yeah.
There's even things like guys get like getting cheated on and stuff like that. And they tell me about what happened, and I'm just thinking, that's a real shame because if you had the correct information, she was basically asking you, are you going to be a leader or am I going to
Mhm.
be able to bitch you around and bully you around? And the guy didn't clock. And she goes and cheats on him. And it's like, it's funny, but it's not funny at the same time. You don't want that to happen to you. So showing some leadership and so on is like super important. Um, so yeah, that a lot of my content centers on that type of thing as well. And the guys that I see having good relationships, it does follow that model.
Mhm.
That I've not seen a female led relationship which I actually would want to be a part of. I've literally never seen it. They always are quite toxic in my opinion. So
Mhm.
the challenge is it's not it shouldn't be a battle though. It shouldn't be a battle. It's just something you set the groundwork with, and she steps into it. And if she really doesn't want to, that's okay. That's fine. Another girl will want to. You know,
Mhm.
they'll still do they're still unpredictable beings. They'll still do these little weird shit tests here and there. That's normal as well. We don't have to be perfectionist about it. This is not about running like an Islamic draconian harem where you're like the sultan beating them all down. It's nothing like that at all. So I
Mhm.
talk about a lot of that stuff on the channel. And I hope to talk about a lot of that stuff more as well. Once I get enough infields up to just establish the infield stuff is taken care of, because I think the long game is not just cold approach, it's not just leads, it's actual relationships, marriages, families, and actually putting that back into like guys being in relationships they really want to be in, not just having a girl and then just being too afraid to leave. That's not really a great
Definitely.
place. We want really good relationships. And I don't know about you, I've definitely found like I've always had good relationships, to be honest, so it's not been too much of an issue. But I think my best was my most recent relationship. That I think the dynamic was incredible, and that was a girl that I met through cold approach.
Hmm.
So I do think it adds something to the dynamic as well. There was like such a level of respect between us, between me and the girl, which unfortunately didn't
Oh.
work out. But I don't know how you've experienced that and over this last year or two.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a pre-selector for quality in itself, of course, and as you said it, the woman respects you for how the relationship starts. So yeah, it changes the dynamic. It's very very good. It's very positive, and because of the quality of women that you meet and attract through the day, they're just more beautiful, more attractive. You have better chemistry with them, so you take the girls more serious as well. It Yeah, it's just it's very very good.
Yeah, and you know those magic approaches as well. I remember your ex girlfriend when I saw her,
Mm.
I asked her about the approach. Dude, her story was so detailed. It was about
Yeah,
her whole day, what she'd been doing. Like there was such a detail there. It was this magical experience for her and obviously for you as well. That's like I had a similar thing as well. Like I talked many times with my ex about that approach. So the question you might want to ask yourself as well, maybe we just start to wind things up, but is how do you want your girlfriend and potentially your
yeah,
wife and potentially your children, how do you want them to 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 how do you want to
definitely.
answer them when they say, "Daddy, how did you meet mommy?"
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
how do you want to answer that question? It's a big question.
What story are we telling ourselves? Yes, and telling our kids and grandkids. Exactly. This reminds me of one of my all-time favorite cold approaches, which was when I was still learning it, actually, in Malaga on the beach, where I absolutely sprinted to catch up with this girl, and then I was joined by my Egyptian wing, who just screamed like, "Oh my god, this was like a Hollywood movie, man!" And he said it in his like funny, very typical Egyptian way, and we had like a little audience of people, and the girl, she absolutely loved it, and it was like a movie scene. So that's at least how the experience felt to her. So you will have these you can have these experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very human as well. Like you don't have to be very good. When I
Mhm.
approached my ex, I was off the back of like a whole weekend of approach. I think I was a bit fatigued, and she was like, "Yeah, you seemed a bit sort of tired, maybe a bit nervous or whatever." But I just liked the fact you approached me, and we talked for quite a while. And I never said anything, but I was like, later on in the relationship, I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Yeah, you should see how good I am now." But like, and obviously never said
Yeah.
that. But it's you don't have to be that good. I've got with girls who, when I was before I'd even trained and I was not that good, but I just knew some basic steps to take and went in, and the girl liked it, and I knew enough because of the nighttime that I was effective, but um, I was like quite nervous, and I actually said to the girl, I was like, man, you're just so hot. You're actually putting me on edge. And
Mm.
in a way, it's a nice compliment for them. It's like their beauty is so radiant, it's like it's putting this guy on edge. It's not the end of the world, man. Like it's fine.
Mhm.
They get it. That you're not the only guy who's looked at them with desire and probably felt a bit self-conscious. Like they get it. So
Mhm.
um, you don't have to be perfect. That's probably the last thing I'll finish on. Is like there's all these different things that we do. Almost, I almost think the most beautiful period of this is when you're in that low intermediate phase, or like
Yeah.
just you're just in that upper beginner, low intermediate, where like it's still new and exciting, and you're still a bit nervous sometimes. And actually, there's some energy that comes through that, and it's actually a really beautiful phase to be in because there's that excitement there. It isn't quite the same for probably for us now as it was back then, but
Yeah.
that's all right. That comes with the territory when you're getting to a point you're good enough to actually teach people. You have to put yourself through like an ungodly number of reps to actually feel confident enough to teach other people.
Mhm.
So we probably don't get that thrill that other guys will get. But that's a really beautiful phase to be in.
Yeah, it's this pure expression which the women will definitely appreciate. They'll feel it. Even if like a bit nervous, or you're you're trembling, literally trembling on your knees or something like that, you can still get an incredible date out of it. So it's possible. So let's maybe have a quick look at the comments, and then we'll wrap it up. So hi. Well, we can't really answer that. Come to Amsterdam. Yes, I will. It's just a matter of time. And then Mohit Nadim, of course, we know you. Have you guys ever dealt with disrespectful girls? How did you navigate that? You during cold approach? Well, yeah, we you wanna laugh with it. I would say we had it recently where my friend approached a girl inside like some sort of a bakery, and I was standing outside. Two girls were talking, and then one girl was smiling, and I just said, "You're smiling," and her friend started. She was like in a horrible mood. She said, like, "Yeah, of course we're smiling. Do you don't want us to smile, right?" She became like kind of aggressive almost. It was just ridiculous. And then my friend left the shop, and he was like he just started laughing. So if you can laugh with it, and if a girl is very negative, very I don't know, just weird or angry when you approach her, then just assume she's having a bad day, unless you look so scary and horrible, and your approach is so bad. But I don't think that's the case. I mean, it has to be like horrific, like the worst of the worst. But that's probably not the case.
Yeah, I do understand. Like, you can be a bit of, it can be frustrating when you go over to a girl or you make a comment and you really didn't deserve any type of a negative response, and they come out with something really almost abusive towards you. I actually do understand that urge inside you to say, okay, fuck you then, because it's like, I felt that myself because I'm like, if I deserved it, if I pushed it too far, then I'll take it on the chin and say, yeah, that was out of line. I was too
Yeah,
far. Sorry about that. But if it's just undeserved, then there's that natural impulse inside you to fire, for me anyway, to fire back. But you want to resist that urge and just laugh it off, because a lot of it's just immature, to be honest. If sometimes with the two sets, the ugly girl is a real bomb, and you're just like, what are you going to do? That's it comes with the territory. We talked about resentfulness earlier on. Sometimes that's going to happen. Sometimes in the two sets, the other girl will wing you as well.
yeah,
So you have to just understand it's part of the game, or it
yeah.
is part of the game. There will be some girls who will respond negatively.
Yeah, and
Um,
honestly, most guys don't really get that many negative, hardcore rejections. It's actually very rare. I've
yeah,
barely experienced this myself. And then you could say, well, yeah, but it's you. Okay, fine. But even other guys that are a bit more aggressive, maybe if you're very aggressive, or you're doing something wrong, you can get these. But it's kind of rare. It almost never happens. My rejections these days, they look like, I'm in a hurry, I have a boyfriend, how old are you? And those are all said with smiley positive faces. So
yeah. If you're smiling on the approach as well, you've got a cheeky little grin on you. The girls like that typically. It's pretty rare. I do understand how guys can get put off though by an extremely bad response.
yeah,
But I think it also comes down to having the right people around you to normalize it. To go, dude, it's just part of the game.
yeah,
It's part of the game. You risk it. Sometimes you get sometimes you lose, but sometimes you win big as well. Um, just on this respect thing as well. Actually, the girl I'm meeting tonight, who I met yesterday, I did a live on this today on a little bit of doggedness, a little bit of not being bothered with some of these slightly. I think this girl's slightly ghetto. I'd say she's 30% ghetto, 70% like just middle class. but she's got a little bit of ghetto. And some of those types of girls, they're not going to make your life easy at all. When you
Mm.
they might ignore you a little bit, but there was just enough eye contact. There was just I was like, this is just I know you just who are we kidding here? I know you're enjoying the fact I approached you. I just on some level I knew it, maybe because I've been around it before. But she was
Mm.
not giving me any indicators of interest. She wasn't flirting with me, nothing at all. But I just kind of walked alongside her, and then I couldn't even stop her because she's with a friend, and then closed her at the end of the road. And you'd think she wasn't disrespectful, but she
Yeah.
was like kind of nonchalant and a bit non-interested. But the fact I stuck in was like, this
Yeah.
guy, he wants me, and he wants me enough to do this. And actually, for some girls, that can be a real turn on. That can
Hmm.
be really like it's something that they like. So it's not desperate. It's like no, he knows what he wants, so he's sticking in and being
Hmm.
dogged. Which I encourage guys to try doing that. Provided you're already quite good. If you're just shit and the girls are trying to get away from you, you have to be able to identify that as well. Um, so there's I think it does take some nuance and experience to know what is going on. Like I get concerned when I see people who so there's like one of the guys we met in Belgrade where he seemed totally oblivious to how women were reacting to him. Like, and some were like genuinely, really, the girl really wants to get away from you, dude. It's not like she's playing hard to get. She really obviously wants to get the fuck away from you. Things
Yeah.
like that. That's very rare though. I mean, that's the one in a million guys who are just freaks.
Hmm.
I think most guys are quite sensitive to what they're seeing in front of them. If anything, they're too sensitive towards rejection.
Hmm. Definitely. Yeah. You get used to it as well. It's something you cultivate. You have to get used to it, and it doesn't feel as bad. In fact, it can actually boost your state a little bit as well. Can give you extra energy.
Ultimately, if you don't ask the question, if you don't shoot, you don't score. That's what it is. You can't score every single goal. You know, it just is what it is. And one of these days, you're going to score the goal of the century. You're going to win the World Cup. It's just inevitable. You know, that is what it is.
Hmm. Hmm. All right, boys. I think we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. So yeah, cold approach. It's not about age. It's about who you are. I will, Joseph. I will thank you, by the way, for this conversation again. We will do this again in the future. I will link your channel in the description below, so guys can just click on it, look at you, your lives, your infields as well. And so yeah, it was a great discussion. I hope it was valuable for the right guy.
Exactly. And if you are the right guy, if you are based in Europe, if you are based in France, Belgium, Amsterdam, give Balthus a call in
Mm.
2026. I am unavailable. I'm in Latin America. So if you're in America in the Americas, you can call me. But if you're in that part of the world, there is nobody better. He is the guy. He won't say it enough on the channel. But he is honestly a joke. I've been in set with this guy. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. His biggest problem in Belgrade, honestly, was he was too seductive in his sets.
Mm.
If you can actually imagine that as a thing, I never seen that before. So his skill set is completely absurd. And he trained one of my good friends, a guy who come through my channel, who uh, I didn't I didn't train him just because I was training someone else, and Balthus took him out and trained him and took him through his first ever cold approaches, and
Mhm.
he had an amazing experience. Um, this is a common feature with guys who do a lot of approach. We're actually very understanding and very empathetic to people who are learning this because as much as we might think we're good now, we know exactly what it's taken and we know exactly how much
Mhm.
effort and it's gone into it, the transformation you have to make. So guys who actually do make the step and actually go and learn and train, we have very high levels of empathy for and
Yeah.
provide exceptionally good support for. It's not this like alpha male chest beating. I'm better than you. There's none of that at all. We
Mm.
The main thing we respect is guys who actually put themselves in there. So yeah, if you're in Europe, you just the guy will change your life basically. That's just the honest truth. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And not to forget, it's actually a fun experience as well. It's just fun. It was fun
Yeah.
for the guy you just described in Belgrade. I mean, eventually it was just a fun experience. And guys, yeah, you want to set yourself up for spring. It's winter now. We just had Christmas. I mean, we're, if you live in Europe, you're still gonna get some you know dark and cold, lonely nights. But this is the time to think about spring, think about summer, think about the girls you can date, your next girlfriend. Think about your next girlfriend. That's what you should be doing right now. Set your life up for your next girlfriend.
Yeah, and if you get in the next couple of months, by summer you can be really ready to rock. By summer, it might take you a month or two to get comfortable, but by summer you'll be there.
Mm,
So the timing actually has never been better. This time of year, it's a good time to do it.
mm, exactly. All right, boys. I think that was it for tonight. Click on Wingbro in the link below in the description. Check out the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next live. Definitely. Thank you, Joseph. Have fun in the DR.
Take it easy, mate. Have a good night.
Yeah. Bye bye.